Gen?
Mental Gen? Good evening, and welcome to another fantastic, fantabulous My Little Pony dramatic reading.
Tonight's story is Correspondence.
By one of our favorite authors of My Little Pony fanfiction, Friendly Uncle. Author of such classics as Fluffershy, Do You Really Want to Know, and Luna versus the Threesome, Side Story to Progress.
Anyway.
and just to clear up how much we like this guy and appreciate his work, Fluffershy is one of our favorite fanfics of all time. In fact, it's not a story we just think is good. It is the story we constantly refer to when we see something so ungodly horrible.
You see?
You explain it.
For those who don't know, in this world that we live in, there are certain things called brain bleach. Fluffershy is brain bleach.
For us.
For us, at least.
Whenever we see something so, oh my god, what is this? We always refer back to Fluffershy.
In other words, if there was a button for, oh god, I can see forever, this is the reset switch.
Yeah. And before you ask, we are not going to do a dramatic reading of Fluffershy. The simple reason for that is...
It's been done already. Go look it up.
Yeah. Anyway, without further ado, this is Correspondence by Friendly Uncle.
Yes.
Spike! Spike! Where are you? I'm right here, Twilight. What's up?
Spike looked up from his lunch as Twilight Sparkle emerged from her room, looking somewhat frazzled.
Oh, there you are. Good. I don't suppose you've seen a big book with a maroon binding anywhere around, have you? There's a sparkle pattern stitched on the front. I can't imagine how I misplaced it. It's really distinctive. Oh, yeah,
said Spike, gulping down another ruby.
That's the data. How the hell do you say this word?
Compendium.
That's what I thought. That's a data compendium you wrote up for Princess Celestia, right? I already sent that to her.
Twilight hopped down from the library's ground floor, shaking her head.
No, not that one. It has the same cover, but it's another book. I just like that pattern so much I bought a second one to use for my report. The other one's my, personal log. Personal log?
Spike scratched his head while he searched through a pile of books.
You mean like a diary? No!
Twilight fairly shouted.
No, it's not a diary. It's a research journal I've been keeping since I became Celestia's student. It contains research notes and other extraneous notations that wouldn't be appropriate for a scholarly paper. So, kind of like a diary. I swear by all that is Harry, Spike, I will end you! Here it is!
Twilight blinked as Spike held up the large tome. She broke out into a smile and hugged the baby dragon briefly before taking the book from him with a spark of magic from her horn.
Yes, that's it. Thanks, Spike. You're a lifesaver. Just doing my job, ma'am.
Spike drawled as he sat back down to eat. Twilight chuckled as she flipped through the pages with her magic.
So glad I finally found this. I've been going crazy all week not being able to write anything down, and now I can finally put all my thoughts on paper. Spike, this isn't my personal journal. This is the research compendium. No, it's not.
Spike mumbled around a mouthful of diamonds.
I told you. I sent that to Princess Celestia just last week. Just like you asked me to.
He stopped chewing, scaly eyebrows suddenly knotting.
At least I sent her a book that looked exactly like that one.
A cold chill ran down Spike's spines as he heard Twilight Sparkle coming up slowly behind him.
Spike?
She asked very quietly.
Are you saying that you sent my personal journal, which is very private and intended exclusively for my eyes only, to Princess Celestia? Oh no! Thank goodness.
Twilight slumped to the ground in a heap.
Well, okay, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Spike! This is no time for enemy limit! This is a time for panic! Falling, screaming, flailing panic!
Spike blinked as Twilight galloped in a small circle on the floor, practically crying in terror.
Twilight, don't you think you're overreacting a little bit? So, Princess Celestia read your diary. What's the big deal? It's not like you wrote about how you hate her, or think she's a terrible ruler, or that her tale is particularly unflattering. Princess Celestia's tale is poetry in motion, and don't you besmirch her name by saying otherwise!
Twilight wailed. Spike stared at her. Twilight pawed the floor nervously.
So, it's more like the opposite, then.
Twilight's face achieved a darker shade of purple. Spike sighed.
How bad?
Poetry.
She mumbled. Spike did his best not to laugh. He wasn't good enough. He wasn't good enough, too. Twilight declared daggers at the little dragon as he rolled around on the floor, chortling.
Apparently, my co-host's best isn't good enough either.
Shut up,
You know,
she said desperately.
I'm probably just blowing this all out of proportion. I mean, this is Princess Celestia we're talking about. She's not going to read a few pages of my journal and then go through the whole thing. She's going to notice that she hasn't been sent a properly edited report, realize she's looking at something personal, and set it aside to respect my privacy. I'm flipping out over nothing.
Unless...
Spike said slowly. Twilight felt her stomach tying itself in a square knot.
Unless what, Spike? What are you unlessing?
Okay, this is just a what if, okay?
Spike!
Suppose I knew you were really anxious to get Princess Celestia's opinion on your research, and I happened to maybe put a note on what I thought was your research logs that said something like, urgent for Celestia's eyes only, read it entirely at earliest convenience.
Twilight's horn began to glow with evil light.
Well, that would mean instant death.
Spike opened his mouth to beg for his life, but nothing came out but a belch of green flame. Twilight yelped and hopped out of range of the stream of fire, and smoke transformed itself into a paper scroll affixed with Equestria's royal seal. The package fell to the floor with a quiet rustle. Twilight swallowed and backed away from the scroll. Spike rolled his eyes and picked it up, breaking the seal and shaking it open.
Relax, Twilight. This is probably just Princess Celestia writing to tell you that she knows she got the wrong book.
My dearest, most faithful student, Twilight Sparkle. It's been far too long since we've had a chance to converse face to face, and the battle against the parasprites in Philadelphia has left me in need of a few days' rest. With this in mind, I've decided to come to Ponyville for some much-needed relaxation. I should arrive tomorrow, and please refrain from any festivities. I wish to only spend a few quiet days with my favorite student. We have such a lot to talk about after all. Signed, Princess Celestia of Equestria.
And obligatory scene change.
Rarity tisked as Pinkie Pie wiggled again, ruining the careful work she was doing pinning the fabric of the spastic Earth Pony's outfit.
Pinkie, really? I'm trying to go as quickly as possible, but this is precision work. Do try to hold still. I'm sorry!
Pinkie sing-songed.
But I'm just so excited because I've never had a custom-made outfit before. In fact, I don't think I've ever had a new outfit before, or really any outfit for that matter, and it's just really sort of a deal for me, and I'm just so grateful, and whenever I'm very grateful, I get very excited, and it's hard to hold still because I feel like a great big jello mold, and I'm just wiggling back and forth, or like my insides are all full of chunks of fruit. I think my liver would be a grape. I don't know why. Oh my god, I can't believe I got through all of that.
Oh, fuck! Anyway, Rarity blinked in desperation. She latched onto the part of Pinkie's tirade that made the closest thing to sense.
You've never worn an outfit before? Ever? No?
Said Pinkie, grinning.
I'm naked!
You're always naked, damn it!
That's not the sort of thing you should really be going around shouting, dear.
The door to Rarity's boutique burst open. Rarity and Pinkie Pie turned in surprise as Spike rushed in, panting for breath and eyes wide with fear.
Really?
He yelled.
Come quick! I think I killed Twilight! And scene changed back to the library. And she's been like this ever since.
Spike finished explaining as he led Rarity and only partially nude Pinkie Pie into the library. She's always goddamn naked!
They're all always goddamn naked!
Fuck! Twilight was standing in the middle of the room, perfectly still and silent, staring obliquely at nothing in particular, mouth hanging open in an expression of absolute horror.
My goodness,
Said Rarity.
The poor thing looks like a filly who's just been told there's no such thing as Santa Claus. What do we do?
Said Spike.
If the princess comes and finds out I broke Twilight, she'll give me her, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed look. The last time she gave that to some pony, the last time she gave some pony that work, all the guards manured themselves. Now, just calm down, darling. No pony's giving you any looks.
Rarity soothed the frantic dragon.
She's in some kind of mild shock. Mild? Really? Anyway,
Considering.
she's in some kind of mild shock. That's all. So we just have to bring her out of it. But we have to be absolutely gentle. Slowly and softly is the key.
While Rarity was talking, Pinkie Pie trod over the twilight and stuck her tongue in the frozen unicorn's ear. Pinkie Pie watched excitedly as Twilight shot straight up into the air. Eyes still on the unicorn, she reached out of the frame with one hoof and snagged a pillow, placing it expertly underneath Twilight's hurling body as she crashed to the floor. Twilight made a small pain noise and assumed the fetal position.
Or I suppose we could do it that way.
Groused Rarity. When Twilight didn't get up, Rarity and Pinkie leaned down to make sure she hadn't been seriously injured by the fall. Twilight was hugging herself quietly and staring at the wall, face scrunched up with the effort of not bursting into tears. Rarity frowned and placed what she had hoped was a comforting hoof on the unicorn's shoulder.
There now, Twilight. I'm sure it's not all that dire. Not dire!
Twilight leaped to her feet, flailing with her forelegs.
Of course it's not dire! This is as dire it can possibly be! Princess Celestia is coming here to talk to me! She's read my journal! She knows everything! She's read the poetry! She's read the list of places I want to take her out on dates to! She's seen the diagrams of all the different ways I want to make sweet love to her! She's seen my speculation of what kind of children our genetics would breed! She thinks I'm nuts! She thinks I'm sick in the brain!
I need a minute.
Well,
Okay.
you're sick in the membrane.
I just need some water.
You're sick.
Okay,
You're twisted.
I can continue now. Well, I know all that stuff now too, and I don't think you're sick in the brain.
Sure, Pinkie.
Princess Celestia is really nice. I'm sure she won't hold any of it against you. That's the worst part!
Twilight sobbed. Rarity, Pinkie, and Spike all looked at each other quizzically, and then back at Twilight.
Afraid we don't quite follow, darling,
said Rarity.
Princess Celestia will understand. She'll be so understanding. She won't say any of the horrible things I know she thinks of me or tell me how unworthy I am of any of it. She'll be nice. She's going to let me down gently. And I just can't. I can't.
She must have some kind of sadomasochistic tendencies in the back of her head. Anyway, Twilight started crying so hard she was no longer capable of speech, and Rarity quickly trotted over to lend her a shoulder.
There, dear. It's going to be all right. The princess doesn't hate you. I swear she doesn't. It's going to be awkward between you for a little while. It always is with unrequited love. But just because she doesn't feel the same way doesn't mean she'll stop liking you at all. You'll talk, and she'll tell you how she feels, and you'll establish new boundaries, and you'll come to see it isn't really quite so bad. And eventually you'll find some pony else. Why, I remember my first crush.
No,
Twilight said miserably, shrugging off Rarity.
no, I can't do that. I can't stay here and listen to her calmly explaining why we can't be together. I'm not stupid. There's a reason I never told her any of this. I know what's coming. I just can't stand here and say it.
Inspiration struck. Twilight went from crying to maniac cheer in less than a second.
So I won't. If Princess Celestia never talks to me, she'll never be able to let me down gently, and I can pretend this never happened. So it's a win-win.
Okay. I need another glass of water for this.
But if you never talk to her, then you'll never be able to tell her what you learned about friendship.
Said Pinkie.
And if you never tell her anything about what you learned about friendship, then eventually when the Nightmare Moonlight form takes over another host and teams up with Gilda and Trixie to take control over all of Equestria, and we have to dust off our elements of harmony and Paris rarely turn to fight back, then you won't be able to use your magic to absorb all the elements from our broken corpses and ascend to God Pony here, and then take Celestia's place as the racer of this unsafe all pony from the creeping dark Argus that devours magic of friendship, and that will mean the end of cupcakes forever, Twilight! The end of cupcakes forever!
What I think she's trying to say,
Spike interrupted.
Is that eventually you're gonna have to communicate with the princess in some way, and eventually everything that's gone on set is gonna cause problems. If she's going to be here to talk to you, then you might as well get everything off your chest now. Spike's right,
Said Rarity, raving a hoof to cut off whatever Pinky was going on to add.
If only for your own peace of mind, Twilight. You have to pony up and talk to Celestia.
Twilight did not stop grinning.
Nope,
She said,
I don't. I really don't. In fact, that's the exact opposite of what I'm going to do.
She's coming here expressly to talk to you, darling. Exactly what are you going to do about that?
Hide.
Before any others could react, Twilight lit up her horn with magical power and disappeared in a flash of light.
Oh dear.
Said Rarity.
We'd better find her. There's no telling what she'll do to herself in this state.
And then what we do about the burritos?
What the fuck? Pinky wailed.
What?
What?
Scene change! So that's the situation.
Applejack explained to Fluttershy, glancing around agitatedly as she stood on the pudding-colored Pegasus front step.
Twilight dinner runner, and now we gotta find her before the princess arrives this afternoon, or apparently the burritos will die. Or something. I don't really know what Pinkie Pie was getting at toward the end, but it just sounds serious.
Well, that's just awful.
Said Fluttershy.
She's been out all night.
Friday's been asking around, and Rainbow Dash has been flying around looking for her, but we haven't found hide nor her yet. And she's not staying with any pony but no. So search me where she could have gone.
I can ask the animals if they've seen her.
Said Fluttershy. Pressing her back, Angel Bunny Asshole rolled his eyes and smacked her in the head.
Hellspawn.
Bitch. Fluttershy gave him a look and let out a long, suffering sigh.
What I can't understand is what Twilight thinks she is doing. Run from the God Empress for all ponydom.
Celestia sees all.
She knows all.
She watches you clop. Said Applejack, looking askance at the angry rabbit.
Celestia's gonna find her eventually. It's not like she's gonna send her to sore hells when she does it. Twilight needs to buck up and take it like a pony.
Take it?
Fluttershy squeaked.
Rejection.
Oh, right. Yes, I knew that's what you meant.
Angel scowled and started jumping up and down hard on Fluttershy's back, pausing to yank on her hair and wings as he did so. Fluttershy gritted her teeth and pretended not to notice.
I know. I'm gonna get going.
Said Applejack, eyeing Angel nervously.
Banker wants to have a party down at Sweet Apple Acres, and I gotta help Big Macintosh clear out the bond. Keep an eye out and let us know if you find out what Twilight's gone and hid. And if you get a chance to talk to her, tell her we're all here for her, alright? I don't know what she's going through right now, but a lot of us can't help but stand up to Princess Celestia telling she loves her, but she ain't in love with her, then I'll eat my hat.
Fluttershy watched Applejack canter away, then closed the door. An increasingly violent Angel Bunny suddenly found himself glowing purple and rising up off of Fluttershy's back before glowing back across the room to impact with Fluttershy's couch in a small explosion of throw pillows.
Thanks.
Said Fluttershy.
I think. No problem.
Said Twilight Sparkle, slipping out of the closet where she'd been hiding.
And thanks for letting me stay here, Fluttershy. I knew you would understand. Well, I'm not entirely sure I understand completely.
Said Fluttershy, tapping herself on the chin with her hoof.
But I do know what it's like to not want to talk to some pony.
Twilight sighed.
I thought as much. I mean, it's not like I don't want to talk to Princess Celestia. I want to see her again so badly. But if we do talk and she tells me the one thing I don't want to hear, then what am I going to do?
Move on. Fluttershy nodded.
You shouldn't have to talk to her if you don't want to. If you're scared of talking to her, then all you have to do is not say anything, and eventually things will get so awkward that she'll just leave. And then you don't have to talk to her. That's what I do.
Twilight stared at Fluttershy for a long moment. The Pegasus smiled at her, then slowly her expression began to droop as Twilight's gaze became increasingly uncomfortable.
I'm sorry. Did I say something wrong? That's what you do? I mean, you do that on purpose? You go all quiet because you know it makes ponies leave you alone? Yes.
Fluttershy was very nearly in tears now. Twilight sighed and quickly trotted over to the flinching Fluttershy, nuzzling her gently on the cheek.
It's okay, Fluttershy. I think you actually helped me figure something out. Oh?
She brightened up a bit.
Yes. I am being completely stupid. I can't just leave Princess Celestia hanging after she's taken the time to come and see me to sort this all out. It isn't any more fair to her than it is to me, and I can't solve my problems by helping them go away. Oh?
Fluttershy looked nervous again.
Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure.
Twilight headed for the door.
I'm going to face my fears and explain to the princess how I really feel, and when she rejects me, I'm just going to have to suck up and deal with it. Also, I'm going to get you some psychological counseling. But, Twilight, I really don't want... Trust me, it's for your own good. Now go check on Angel Bunny. I'm pretty sure I gave him a concussion.
Pretty sure? Make it certain.
Death.
Anyway,
meanwhile...
Scene change again.
Rainbow Dash, Spike, and Rarity were in the library and apparently in the middle of an argument when Twilight Sparkle slammed the door open and cantered in. The three of them stopped what they were doing and stared at her.
Hey!
Shouted Dash.
I thought you said she was missing. I was.
Said Twilight.
And I'm sorry, every pony, for making you worry. But I'm here now. I'm here now and I'm ready. I'm going to talk to Princess Celestia, and I don't care how awkward it's going to be because we both know she's read my 10-page story about single-hoofedly saving her from a dragon and making furious love to her on top of the mountain in the middle of a lightning storm. I'm going to do this, so just, watch out.
What the fuck?
Okay.
Spike?
Okay, what was in that journal? Actually, you know what? I'm pretty sure I really don't want to know.
Fanfics.
Fanfics, poetry.
Fanfics, poetry, diagrams, sex manuals, the works. Anyway, Spike and the two ponies just sort of stared at her. Rarity recovered first, trotting over to Twilight and trying very gently to turn her around.
Good show, dear. That's the spirit. Now, if you'll just come with us. Pinky's arranged a party for Princess Celestia, and so let's just all head down there now.
Twilight reared up in surprise.
A party? Princess Celestia specifically said she didn't want any pony making a fuss.
Oh, it's no fuss, my dear. It's a very small, relaxing get-together. An intimate occasion, as it were.
I don't want an intimate occasion! I don't want an occasion! I'm trying to explain to Princess Celestia that the entry about wanting to wear her skin was a metaphor! This is not the sort of thing you talk about at a party!
Oh, I'm getting... Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. I'd fuck me so hard.
Ugh.
Wearing her skin? How the fuck is she supposed to take that?
Well, I guess we're about to find out.
Moving right along. Oh.
I do believe that's why Rarity is trying to get you there, my faithful student.
Twilight froze, her horn flashing in panic. Panic and blowing a neat circular hole in the ceiling of the library.
Funny that hasn't happened before.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Eyes widening in melting horror, she slowly turned to find Princess Celestia sitting at one of the library's study tables, a somewhat worried expression on her face.
If it helps, I thought it was a lovely metaphor. A bit morbid, but heartfelt.
So, that answers your question.
Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
Quit quoting Jay. The time for quoting Jay and Silent Bob will come, but...
Buffalo Bill originally said that in the 1991 hit Silence of the Lambs.
You think I don't know that?
Yes. If you're going to cite a source, cite it proper. Anyway, Twilight started to...
As I was saying, the time for quoting Silence of the Lambs and Jay and Silent Bob will come.
Twilight opened her mouth, but no sound came out.
Spike, Rarity, Rainbow Dash, could you please apologize to Pinkie Pie and tell her that Twilight Sparkle and I won't be attending her gathering this evening?
Stop reading my lines with me.
I do appreciate the effort, but I'm sure she'll understand if we need some time to ourselves. I'm sure we'll have all the time for another party before I return to Canterlot.
Certainly, Your Majesty,
said Rarity. She started to bow, then noticed that the princess winced at the movement, and simply opened the door for Spike and Rainbow Dash. Spike waved as he headed out. Rainbow Dash offered an encouraging smile. Rarity did both, and gently closed the door behind her, leaving Twilight and Celestia alone. Twilight started to seriously reconsider Fluttershy's advice.
Oh god, no.
Twilight,
Said Princess Celestia as she straightened to her hooves.
I owe you an apology.
Huh? What? Oh, no, Princess. You don't...
Celestia when we're alone, dear. And yes, I fear I do.
She walked slowly over to Twilight and bent her head to gently embrace the trembling unicorn. Despite the situation, Twilight felt herself immediately relax as Celestia held her close.
I should have realized as soon as I started reading that it was the book that was not intended for me.
Celestia continued.
It was rather confusing, but the signs were there. I should have sent it back. I didn't, and by the time I read enough to be sure that a mistake had been made, I already seen too much. But I must admit, Twilight, let my curiosity get the best of me. I could not pass up a chance to know your mind so intimately.
What?
Okay.
And in doing so, I betrayed your trust. So while I cannot regret the greater insight to my most favorite student's mind, I do beg your forgiveness for that betrayal.
Celestia,
Twilight moaned as she leaned against her teacher.
if you've read my journal, you know I could forgive you of anything.
I did that, and I do.
Celestia answered.
And please, Twilight, whatever else may happen, I hope you know that I could never think less of you for having such feelings.
I know. I couldn't. I didn't.
Hush now, dear. It's all right. There's no one here but me. Let everything go.
Twilight buried her face in Celestia's warm mane and cried until there weren't any tears left. Celestia nuzzled her gently and murmured soothingly in her ear until she was done. Then Celestia helped Twilight dry her eyes and led her to a room where the princess had conjured a low bed for herself. Twilight sank down gratefully onto the soft mattress, shivering a bit as Celestia snuggled down next to her. Oh dear.
It's been quite some time since I've been to a sleepover.
Celestia chuckled.
I do hope I can remember how.
I have a book for that.
Twilight said wryly. She frowned a bit, then laid her head against Princess Celestia's flank.
Okay.
Princess, I mean, Celestia, I just want you to know, I know what you're going to say next. And it's all right.
Celestia blinked.
You do? It is?
It's why I never told you. About how I felt, I mean.
Twilight felt her face go hot and looked away.
I knew what you'd say to me if you found out, and I knew you'd be as gentle as possible, but I still couldn't bear to hear those words out loud. So please.
All right,
Said Celestia, hooking one foreleg comfortingly over Twilight's withers.
then I won't speak.
Thank you.
Celestia kissed her.
Oh my.
Oh my. Twilight's eyes slammed open, then slowly drifted closed. A soft moan escaped her throat, and Celestia smiled against her lips before slowly pulling away.
Minty.
Celestia chuckled, the barest dusting of blush ghosting across her cheeks.
Is that what you thought I was going to say?
Twilight shook her head to clear it, focusing on Celestia once more.
No, that's not... Celestia, you're the princess of all of Equestria. You couldn't want... me?
Boy.
I chose you as my most favorite student for a reason.
What? Said Celestia.
For many reasons, actually. And in hindsight, a few of them had less to do with your academic merits and more to do with simply enjoying your company. You always have a delightful pony to be around.
You always were.
You always were a delightful pony to be around. And I don't mind saying you've grown into a lovely young mare.
What?
Okay.
You've been hoofpicked to serve as the foremost disciple of the ruler of Equestria. There are few things you are not worthy of. My affection is not one of them.
I don't think other ponies will see it that way.
Said Twilight.
Even if I am your student, I'm not exactly royalty. What will the court say? What will Luna say?
Twilight almost started to cry again, then gasped as she felt Celestia delicately nibbling at her ear. She blushed furiously as Celestia chuckled.
My dear Twilight Sparkle, I am certain that Luna will have no objections, considering it was you who wielded the elements of harmony and freed her from the power of Nightmare Moon. As for many others, well, if your own considerable accomplishments aren't enough, then they must answer to me.
Anger flashed ever so briefly in Celestia's eyes for a split second, Twilight could see the power that radiated from her and magic that dwelt within.
Okay, I got this one.
She's not yelling.
Okay, fine.
I am the God Empress of all ponydom, princess and ruler of Equestria. It is by my power that the sun rises every morn, and by my wisdom that this land is ruled. Now tell me, Twilight, who or what could possibly be in this world or any other that would dare to keep me from she whom I love?
Twilight cried out softly and pressed her lips impulsively against Celestia's. The princess returned their kiss, and for several long moments they lay there, perfectly happy.
Although,
Celestia panted as they finally broke apart.
I hope you don't mind too much, but I don't think I'll be quite up to doing anything on top of a mountain in a thunderstorm right now, particularly if we're going to fight any dragons first.
It's okay.
Laughed Twilight, nestling ever closer to Celestia.
It doesn't matter what we do. As long as I'm with you, I'll be fine.
The end. Well, that was interesting.
I am going to give this story my highest rating yet. A 10 out of 10.
9.5.
Really? That's all you got? Well, that was really well written. There are only 3 authors I've ever seen of My Little Pony fanfiction that I would even consider giving full 10s out of 10s to. And I'm not going to tell you the other 2. Yet. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed that reading. We certainly had fun reading it. And good night.
Good night, everyone.
And remember, when fighting dragons, always wear protection. Armor, you idiots!